Harry's wife, stripped. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Stripped is also a song by the magnificent Depeche Mode, who I'll be seeing several times in this forthcoming year on their Memento Mori tour. Memento Mori is essentially a reminder of the inevitability of death. So, for instance, seeing a skull or perhaps a gun to remind you that we're all going to shuffle off this mortal coil eventually. So, in light of that, enjoy yourself. And of course, fill your boots with lots of information from me to ensure that you're not wasting your time on narcissists. Ensure that you learn about them through the vast repositories of information that I've created for you through my videos and blog articles. But Stripped was released from Depeche Mode's fifth studio album, Black Celebration, back in 1986, when I was just little HG. And it's a fantastic piece of work. And it got to number 15 in the UK, which to my mind it deserved to be higher. And of course, I obtained the limited edition of this. And the B-sides of But Not Tonight, Breathing in Fumes and Black Day, which are particularly the latter two, reworkings on Stripped, are fantastic. The Highland remix of it as well is particularly good. And that was, if I remember correctly, was done by Markle, who's better known as Flood, who had done a number of remixes for Depeche Mode back then. Stripped, of course, is essentially about stripping away technology and the influence of electronica and going back to basics, not in the John Major way, but going to the country, finding oneself, removing one from the urban environment and the technology associated with that. However, when it comes to the issue of Harry's wife, we're not talking about Stripped in the sense of getting your kit off and engaging in some spicy poontang, you'll be pleased to hear, but rather the removal of the titles. An article in The Times by James Beale tells us, public support for stripping Harry of royal title after Netflix film. Almost half of the British public think the Duke of Sussex should be stripped of his royal title following the release of his Netflix documentary, polling has found. In a survey by YouGov for The Times, 44% of respondents said that Prince Harry should have his title removed, compared with 32% who thought not. The 6-part Netflix series Harry and Harry's Wife also created more sympathy for the Prince and Princess of Wales rather than the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This, of course, is demonstrative of the way that Harry's wife repeatedly fails to read the room because she has no emotional empathy. And her cognitive empathy misfires because she's only mid-range in terms of her narcissism. Now, for some of you, I think you labour under the misunderstanding that when I say that she is just a mid-range narcissist, that she's somehow not a full-blown narcissist. She is. She is a full-blown narcissist, but of the mid-range variety, which means, because she fits within mid-range, and within mid-range she's middle mid-range, and within middle mid-range she's a further sub-school, either A or B, this means that she has certain characteristics, which, for instance, are large victim mentality, use of a facade, believing herself to be a kind person, cannot understanding why people criticise her, utilises fake cognitive empathy, utilises fake empathic traits, just a few of the things that are applicable to her. But she is a full-blown narcissist, but her form of narcissism isn't equipped to deal with the various threats to control that she has in a way which gets rid of them forever. She essentially kicks the can down the road. So she always gets the control because she'll either smear or withdraw. But the problem itself doesn't go away. Indeed, because of the way that her narcissism functions, she creates more problems for herself, although, of course, she doesn't see it that way because she's blinded to it by her narcissism. She's just left thinking, I don't get it. Why won't they give me a break? Why won't they leave me alone? Why do they keep picking on me? She doesn't realise that it's her behaviour that causes people to dislike her. She doesn't realise that it's her behaviour that causes people to comment. She doesn't realise that if she just kept quiet and maintained the privacy that she claims that she wants, many of these issues would go away because there'd be nothing to see and nothing to do. She, of course, driven by her narcissism, believed that the creation of the 6-part Netflix series Harry and Harry's Wife would cause everybody to go, oh, we've listened to her story now. The fact that I didn't like her, I stand corrected. I've spent months thinking that she's a horrible narcissist, and now I've listened to her come out with her narrative, I realised that I was completely wrong. And she's an empathic individual. Bollocks. All that's happened, of course, is because of her self-indulgent victim behaviour, is that people have watched it and just thought, my goodness me, what I already thought has just been triple underlined emphasised. She is a narcissist. She's a whinging, self-pitying, grasping, social climbing narcissist. And not only has it caused many people to solidify their views about her, the nastiness that she's exhibited towards William and Kate has meant that there's greater sympathy for the Prince and Princess of Wales, a double backfire for Harry's wife. Returning to the article in the Times, a total of 44% said they had more sympathy for William and Catherine, compared with just 17% for Harry and Harry's wife. Meanwhile, 23% said the 6-hour epic released last month had made them think worse of Harry and Harry's wife, opposed to just 7% who said it made them think better of the pair. Tom Quinn, the author of Kensington Palace, an intimate memoir from Queen Mary to Harry's wife, said, I'm only surprised that the documentary didn't do more damage to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I found it painful to watch. It made you realise they are lost souls. It is extraordinary that they feel this will somehow improve things for them. I'm not at all surprised that people have more sympathy for the Prince and Princess of Wales because they are doing the classic thing of being stoical. They are not complaining about Harry. I think it is unlikely that the King will strip the Duke of Sussex of his title because then it looks like he and Prince William are doing the kind of things Harry and Harry's wife do. Their modus operandi is to be quiet and calm and not lash out. The majority, or 65% of those questioned by YouGov, said that Harry and Harry's wife, who now live in the Californian coastal town of Monte Shit Show, had chosen to leave the royal family. Only 11% said they had been forced out. Quite the gulf, which shows that their attempts to massage the narrative have failed. And 49% said that they did not think that the royal family was a racist institution, while 26% did. Interestingly, there is a graphic which asks, whose side are you on? And survey participants were asked, who do you have more sympathy for by age group? In 18 to 24, 18% said William and Catherine, 29% said neither, 16% went, duh, don't know, 37% Harry and Harry's wife. 25 to 49 age group, 34% said William and Catherine, 37% said neither, 10% said don't know, 20% said Harry and Harry's wife. 50 to 64, 54% said William and Catherine, 30% said neither, 13% said Harry and Harry's wife. And I think about 3% said don't know. 65 plus, 62% said William and Catherine, 28% said neither, 6% said Harry and Harry's wife. 4% said they didn't know. Other than the 18 to 24 age group, beyond that, all other groups said they had greater sympathy for William and Catherine over Harry and Harry's wife. And of course, it won't surprise you, of course, that people's brains don't actually form properly until around about the age of 25. So I suppose those who are age 18 to 24 who have greater sympathy for Harry and Harry's wife might be forgiven because they simply don't know their own minds yet. In the Sussex's interview, the article continues, with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, they said someone, who they refused to name, had made a remark about the skin tone of their son, Archie. Reports have claimed that the couple wanted an apology from the royal family for their treatment. But 53% of respondents said they did not deserve one, and only 19% thought they did. So again, their demanding, sinful, entitled behaviour has backfired. 51% said the Duke and Duchess of Sussex should not have security provided by the British government, against 32% who said they should. Accordingly, strong support overall for the Prince and Princess of Wales, poor support for Harry and Harry's wife, and furthermore demonstrates that their popularity is waning and support increases for the stripping of the titles. The removal of titles, of course, would be a body blow for Harry's wife. It would cause major wounding. As a status-obsessed narcissist and one of a somatic nature, the desire for a title is huge. Of course, we know she exhibits the hypocrisy of saying, I don't want to be in the royal family, but I'll still take the title. She believes she deserves the title. If you were to try and put it to her, don't you think it's hypocritical that you hold on to a title for a family that you don't like? She would say, essentially, it's the least that they could do for me after the way that they've treated me. She doesn't see that it's her behaviour that merits the removal of it and that of her husband. The title is so important to her because it affords status and is a means for her to triangulate with other people for the purpose of asserting control over them. It's also a means of facade management and, of course, making money, which is a residual benefit. The problem that she has is that without it, she is a nobody, an absolute nobody. She hasn't got anything up her sleeve by way of ability or talent and has to rely upon a title that she obtained as a consequence of her husband, hence why she is aptly always referred to as Harry's wife. Now, what are the observations below the line in this regard? John G. writes, we've not even had Harry's book yet. This entire situation is of his own making, or perhaps more accurately, Harry's wife's. But apart from his comments, he does appear to have hatred for his closest family. So yes, the title is now inappropriate, and keeping it looks very much like wanting status without responsibility. Jay Brislin responds to that. I think the problem is Harry's wife's jealousy of the relationship that Harry had with Kate pre-marriage. She's gone all out to ruin that relationship along with the relationship with his brother. S. Lawson, presumably they would want to renounce the titles as they reflect an organisation that has inflicted so much damage on them, or maybe monetising them comes first. Stanley J. I really don't discuss these two at any length or frequency, but whenever they are mentioned, I've not heard one person support them. In fact, the complete opposite. Their constant hypocrisy, lying and berating of the royal family at every opportunity makes most who have an opinion quite disappointed. The stats don't really make sense to me. H. Davis. The Netflix thing was a spectacular backfire. It was a cringe-making whinge fest of trivial, childish, petty jealousies that deserved to be treated with contempt. I wasn't asked my opinion by YouGov, but for the disloyalty, hurt and harm they have caused, they do not deserve the respect necessary to be representing us or our monarchy in any capacity at all. I also think it's a similar disgrace that Labour have installed Tom Watson in the House of Lords. We really do need to maintain standards in public life. And in that, we are failing. Mark Hawkins. He thinks his own family is racist. He thinks the UK is racist. Why on earth is he still using the title bestowed upon him by the UK Constitution? If he meant what he said, he would abdicate from the succession. Margot Burrow. There seems to be continuing misinformation about an alleged racist comment concerning the colour of Archie's skin. Prince Harry contradicted his wife's assertion to Oprah Winfrey by saying that it was before they were married, so it must have been about a potential baby and not personalised to Archie. No support in the comments for them. Unsurprising. And of course, the stripping of the titles would be a major wounding to Harry's wife. And of course, whether Charles has the balls to actually recommend this step and for Parliament to take the appropriate action remains to be seen. But it does appear that the public see that it is the appropriate thing to be done with regard to the gruesome twosome. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.